Hey, howdy guys, Connor McCaskill here, and today joining me is Malachi Salih.
What's going on, everybody? Today we're reviewing the Canon 6D Mark I. Just picked up this bad boy for like $550.
Yeah, so I think that the Canon 6D Mark I is one of the most underrated budget full-frame cameras that you can buy today. And by the way, this video is sponsored by Gear Focus. So the Canon 6D Mark I came out way back in 2012, and I don't know what it is. I think something about 2012 with Canon cameras, there was some mojo going on back then, because the Canon 1DC also came out in 2012, and it had this really beautiful look, and I think the 6D Mark I also has that. So what we're going to be doing today is Malachi is going to be taking some photos and video with his 6D Mark I, and we're going to check it out, see how it looks, and also compare that a little bit to the Canon EOS R, which we're shooting on right now. But before we get to any of that, I would like to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor, Gear Focus. Okay guys, so if you haven't heard of Gear Focus is a great new platform to buy and sell used gear. The best thing is that they're built by creators for creators, and they monitor every transaction to make sure every transaction is safe. Now I know what you're thinking, well, dude, I'll just use eBay instead. Well, eBay charges really crazy seller fees. In fact, I think they can charge up to 13%, which is absolutely crazy. Gear Focus, on the other hand, only charges 3% after you sell the item, and there are no fees until you actually sell the item, which is really amazing. And right now, through April 10th, because of all the craziness that's going on right now in the world, Gear Focus is helping us creators out and charging 0 seller fees through April 10th, which I think is absolutely crazy. So guys, if you're interested in buying any used gear like the 6D Mark I and maybe upping your game a little bit, definitely check out Gear Focus. But also, if you're interested in selling some gear, maybe helping yourself out during these uncertain times, also definitely check out Gear Focus. All links will be in the description down below. Welcome to Zach's studio. We're barging into his studio to go ahead and take a look at really nice. The 6D Mark I files and comparing them to the EOS R files. Initially, we weren't going to do a comparison, but we thought this would be a great way to see how well the 6D holds up in 2020. We're comparing a 2012 camera to a 2019 camera, so this should be pretty interesting. Both are full frame. So we have the same photo pulled up, shot with the same settings and the same lens. So we're just gonna kind of go through each photo and see how they compare and see how the 6D holds up.
Yes.
Sound good?
Sounds wonderful.
Cool. Malachi, tell us what you did here.
All right, so I just added a little basic edit, nothing too crazy. Just kind of corrected the highlights and the shadows so it looks so flat because it was a raw file.
Yeah. We didn't do any crazy edits because we didn't want to disrupt the footage quality. We didn't want to make it like super punchy or anything. So this is pretty minor edits, just like you said, correcting. And the 6D is on the left, the EOS R is on the right. And right off the bat, just kind of looking at the two photos, both look fantastic.
Yeah, they both do.
Yeah, so I don't know, the 6D looks slightly punchier.
It looks like there's a little more like fall off to the left. And if you look in this area right here.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the mouse
right
direct.
It looks a little more sharp from the EOS R. As that looks a little more like fuzzy.
Fuzzy and blurry?
Yeah, so like kind of the fall off is, I feel like is maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, honestly, looking at these two photos, they both look amazing. There's nothing inherently wrong with either photo.
I do like the light on your face in the EOS R1 though.
But that could have just been due to the sunlight or something else.
That's pretty similar.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next photo.
All right, let's move on to the next. There we go.
Cool. Is this the same settings and the same edit?
Yeah, same settings, same edit. So.
Okay, clearly the sun came into play here a little bit. Oh yeah, you can actually see the sun actually came in on the R1. But again, let's zoom in here and kind of check out the details in my face.
Definitely looks cleaner.
It looks a little cleaner on the R.
There's like a little bit of weird fuzz stuff going on.
A little extra detail.
Yeah, the 6D.
But honestly, it still looks really good.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Again, this camera came out 8 years ago. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Of course, Canon has just always been really good at the quality of their stuff. I mean, the 6D's built like a tank.
It really is.
So it hasn't degraded at all in these 8 years. It's still a very, very viable camera.
Honestly, between the two of them,
yeah,
the build of the 6D feels more solid than the EOS R. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
EOS R kind of feels a little more light.
I do agree with that because I do know that the Dave Mays, he had an EOS R and it was sitting in a camera bag and it actually broke. There's a little a little screen on the top, like this, just like this.
Oh yeah.
And the screen on the R broke. I feel like this thing I could throw it down the stairs and it would still work.
Right.
Which is
That's
just
about
something
my-
to be said for these old Canon cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. The 70D I had for forever, like it went through so much.
All right, so let's go ahead and pull up. There we go.
Oh, my
Zach and Zach.
Look at that. So pretty.
Actually, I like the skin tones more
Yeah.
on the 6D.
Did you have yours on like the white balance for like cloudy day?
Yeah, I did. So
Okay.
it should. They're exactly the same in that way, and I think I like.
This is a manual lens though, so this one, the 28 millimeter,
Focus may be a little
might
different
be a
between the
little
two.
off.
It was a vintage manual lens, but I don't know.
I think it's pretty nailed.
It looks really good on both photos, but I think that 6D. I don't know. There's something about that. It looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like this is the perfect mom shot with me and Zach here.
Right.
So
Got a little bit of a little hazy purple.
this is
with
taken on the Helios, right?
Was it?
I think the last photo we took on
I
the
think
Helios.
actually, yeah.
Yeah. So
you're
this is taken on the Helios. What do you say? A little purpley, a little hazy?
right. Yeah, like down the bottom left, you can kind of
Oh,
see
yeah.
a little stuff going on just from the light, kind of bouncing the lens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean that is from the vintage lens. You're right. Again, I think. Look at the.
It's not bad at all.
I think
like-
it actually both look good in this case. The
Yeah,
focus is
I
a
think,
little
yeah, the
bit
focus
missed
is-
here,
yeah,
but that's again, it's
completely.
just a manual lens. But
There's definitely more like red pronunciation
yeah, I
on
think
the 60D sensor.
I don't know if it's necessarily accurate, but I do kind of like it. Maybe this is more accurate to reality, but I do like it. I mean, those Canon colors, they haven't changed much at all
No.
in these 8 years, and for good reason, because they just look so good, man. I don't know. Okay, I gotta say, I was kind of hoping that there'd be a bigger difference,
Me too.
just because the R is so much newer, and also it's so much more expensive. I mean, the R
yeah.
right now, you might be able to get it a little bit cheaper on B&H, but I know when it came out, it was $2,300 body only, versus now the 6D Mark I, which you can pick up for right around $500, maybe a little bit more than that, and it's holding up beautifully. Obviously,
It
there's a
is.
little bit of difference. I know you were telling me that one of the things you don't like about the 6D is shutter speed for
Yeah,
photos.
shutter speed's terrible. Went from a 70D where it was like a freaking machine gun going off
Yeah.
to now it's like a bolt action rifle.
Yeah, I think, what'd you say, it's like 4 frames a second?
Yeah, 4.5.
4.5, so 4.5.
So if you're doing like high speed stuff like sports, cars, anything like that,
Maybe not the best.
maybe not the best.
I will also say that the autofocus points on the...
How we doing, boys?
Oh, yeah,
Hello,
we're
hello.
doing good.
Hey, it looks like you guys might need a little recharge.
Oh, my
Wow,
gosh.
thank
Some
you
coffee?
so much.
Dude, I need to come to your studio more often.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and move out.
Okay. Okay.
All right, you
Well-
guys take over the rent.
Oh.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
oh, here's my cat. He's
Okay.
allergic.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a good video, boys.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Back to what I was saying. I think... Wow, coffee, thanks.
You got coffee.
Clink. So back to what I was saying, there's actually only 11 autofocus points on the 6D, which pales in comparison to the R. I don't actually know how many autofocus points are on the R, but I know it just, I'll put it on the screen like right here. It is monumentally...
Holy cow!
Yeah, I know.
That's a lot more.
Now that's a lot of damage!
But the autofocus, if you just make sure it's centered autofocus and you just lock on, it is super accurate. Like
Yeah.
the dual pixel autofocus, from what I've seen and I'm sure from what you've experienced, is crazy good
Oh, yeah.
on the 6D.
Yeah, I was doing a photo shoot last week, and immediately, like, I was kind of like hesitant because immediately out the box, what I like to do, kind of those car photos where things are moving a lot. But I did a still car shoot, and beforehand I was like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sold in this camera, but after the shoot, I was like, wow, okay, these pictures turned out fantastic. I think I can deal with a slower shutter for right now until I have some extra money
Yeah.
for a faster camera.
And then that's the thing. This is a budget camera. This is a full frame budget camera. So if you can't invest $1,000 or $2,000, which makes sense. I mean, these
Yeah.
things are expensive, and you really want to get into the full frame world. This is
This is excellent coming
yeah.
from crop.
This is a great camera to kind of get you started. and eventually you can upgrade from this when the money makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, there's some mojo with this camera.
Yeah, I mean like $500-$600. You know, get that 50 mil.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely,
pretty
the
set.
little nifty 50.
Yeah,
It's like $100.
fantastic starter.
That'd be a great combination. You can just start with like some portrait photography.
Yes, yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and take a quick look, because we shot a 1080p test between
Yes.
the 60 and the R. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. Okay, so we have the 60 loaded up on the left, and we have the EOS R up on the right hand side. And I'm just going to say this is probably going to be the biggest difference.
This is the biggest difference.
When it comes to photography, photos and RAW really haven't upgraded that much over the past 8 years, but video has definitely seen a massive increase. So we're probably going to see a big difference even in the 1080 files. But let's just go ahead and see and compare, just so we're complete and we've done a full test. So this is shot on the same lens at 24 frames per second, 100 ISO with studio lighting. So on the left, let's go ahead and play the 6D footage, which doesn't look bad necessarily at all. I think that maybe we could have bumped up the ISO a little bit.
I think that's maybe what it needed.
But then if we go over here on the right hand side, I'll move my mouse out of the way, we hit play. Let's see what that looks. I think it looks a lot cleaner.
Clear winner right there.
It's a lot smoother.
Mhm.
It doesn't
Sharper.
feel as blocky. Sharpness might have been pulling focus because it was a manual lens. So I don't.
I did lock it up.
I guess you're right. Yeah. So it does look a little bit sharper. Actually, quite a bit sharper. But this is to be expected. Video definitely has seen the biggest increase when it comes to technology
100%.
in these cameras. But this is still totally usable and totally acceptable. We still haven't fully transitioned to a 4K environment. And again, if you're just trying to get started with that full frame look, this is just a great budget option.
100%.
Anyways, guys, I just want to quickly thank Malachi for coming on the channel.
Of course.
Shaking your hand feels weird.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I just want to
There we
quickly
go.
thank Malachi for coming onto the channel and lending
Anytime.
his awesome 6D Mark I. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you got something out of it. So, as always, thanks for hanging.
Kapow.